Central Asia is home to vast, largely unexplored mineral wealth, offering significant prospects for economic growth and industrial development. Today, we will examine the latest advancements in geological exploration, cutting-edge extraction technologies, and strategies for sustainable resource management. Our experts will also highlight opportunities for regional cooperation, infrastructure investment, and value chain optimization. As the world moves toward a greener industrial future, this session aims to provide clear recommendations for governments, investors, and researchers to unlock the full potential of the region's resources. Let's get started.
Хайрлы таң, құрметті қонақтар, доброе утро, уважаемые друзья, уважаемые коллеги, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have the first morning session on the 25th of June, and our session is called Development of Mineral and Raw Materials Resources in Central Asian Countries. We're talking about untapped opportunities. My name is Yerlan, and today I'm going to be the moderator of this session.
Our today's session consists of 9 people. It's very dense session. We must have time to listen to every speaker. We have reps from Central Asian countries and from Kazakhstan, and we have consultants, we have service companies, we have scientific people. It's going to be an interesting session. So the first floor.
И первое слово, so first word I wanted to give to one of the general sponsors of our today's event of Central Asia's MINEX. The company is SRK Consulting. They're very active in Central Asian countries, both in Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan and other countries, and they have very renowned reputation as a very high experienced people who can help you in all aspects of the mining sector. So please, Mr. David Pierce, he is the corporate consultant of SRK Consulting. Have a round of applause for Mr. Pierce, please.
Good morning. I hope everybody is feeling wonderful after microphone. Wasn't that loud enough? Oh, good morning. I hope everybody is feeling wonderful after last night's entertainment. So I'm going to be talking about the riches under the silken stone of this region. So why have I chosen that subject? So first of all, this region is host to a large number of world-class deposits. Many of you know of the world-class deposits such as Muruntau and Kumtor and Al-Malik and Boshakol and the uranium operations. Well, there's a lot more here as well. However, most of these have been discovered in the Soviet period, and there's opportunities now with the latest technologies, some of which you'll hear today. The conditions here are not easy. The easy stuff has been found. What's remaining is the more challenging stuff. This is the stuff under the steppe. This is the stuff in the mountains. Tajikistan is one of the highest countries in the world with an average elevation of about 3,400 meters. That's the average. So just imagine what it's like at some of the highest elevations. And also there's been significant advances in terms of the government involvement and the actions that have been taken to be able to bring the information together and to encourage investment. So I'm going to cover some of these points. First of all, the Silk Road, the silk in my presentation. As you know, it's well known as far as being a highway for trade, but perhaps it's less well known as being a highway for ideas. So when you're talking about the latest algorithm, well, the word came from here. When you want to be able to talk about some of the medicines, a lot of the ideas and the innovations came from here. So a lot of ideas have passed through this region, and they've been evolved and they've been developed and taken forward. And I see that continuing today. So, the stone of my presentation. world-class operations of Muruntau, of Almalik, the uranium operations, antimony in Tajikistan. There is a lot that has been found, so what's the potential for finding more? I'm going to go through a specific region. So looking at the southern Tian Shan Suture Belt. So that has already generated a lot of mines. So what is left? So one way of being able to look at this is to look at the mineral endowment. Deposits, whilst each one is unique, geological conditions are similar. The reasons why gold deposits are formed is based on a series of physical, chemical conditions, and these exist around the world. So if you take the experience of a well-explored area, in this case, the Yilgarn region in Australia, and then say, well, what have they found? Well, one of the things that has been identified that the size of the deposits follows a logarithmic relationship. So in the graph on the bottom right, that's the deposits they found in orange, and then the ones that they haven't found are the ones in grey. Now, if I take that and apply that to the southern Tian Shan belt, well, actually, there's a lot of grey ones there. There's a lot of deposits which haven't been found yet. So there's a lot of opportunity. So why have they not been found? Well, because of what I mentioned at the beginning. A lot of the ground is either mountainous or it's covered by steppe. So how do we unlock this aspect? And what progress has been made in terms of the mineral codes to attract investment? First of all, a message to the governments. Exploration is a lengthy process. It's a process which takes many years to be able to take data, to be able to identify opportunities, to start fine-tuning and diving into, to be able to identify where exactly is the deposits. The more information that is shared and available to explorers, the easier it is for them to find that information. If they have to do it from scratch, it'll take them longer. So also, each time that the explorers go out looking for deposits, they have to spend money, and then they have to regenerate that money by going back to investors and say, look what I found, give me some more money. So they need to have a quick access to deposits. So if governments can help with providing the information from the Soviet era, from the current era, then this is going to help with the exploration. So governments, so that we've talked about the resource potential. You know, you're in the right country. This is where the deposits are. There's a bit, I've talked about the fact that the governments are taking steps. There's been new mining codes. Yesterday, we heard that the mining code for Uzbekistan has been updated this year. We've seen a lot of changes in Kazakhstan as it's ebbed and flowed and is now settling on something that the industry thinks is very attractive and is now starting to get a lot of investment in. But I'll just focus a little bit on the making the information available through geoscience portals. So there's a lot of data, and the governments, by having an effective portal, can make it easier for explorers to access data and to be able to start their process. It's a complex process, but it's a process that's being developed at many operations around the world, and a number of governments around the world. So therefore, it's easy to be able to copy what has been successful. Regional exploration. Now, should private industry fund that? Should government fund that? Industry will fund it if they can have confirmation that they'll have the area of ground for it. But perhaps government needs to fund this to be able to unlock new areas. So this is an aspect that I would encourage governments to look at, is to fund regional geophysical surveys. Because the more information that is shared, the easier it is for explorers to see the potential, to be able to get through those first steps, raise the money, identify deposits, raise more money, and be able to develop projects. Governments get their most money from the subsoil taxes, from the profit taxes, so they want to encourage new projects. So the faster you do that, the better for governments. The easiest way to do that is to share the information. So it's a very short speech. So in conclusion, this is a fantastic area for exploration. There is great technologies available. You can see some of them in the lobby as you go out at the coffee break to be able to help you unlock these doors. But explorers, they've got choices. Do they explore here? Do they explore somewhere else? So if government can make it easier for them to explore here, they will come. So as in the words, the field of dreams, if you build it, if you provide the information, the explorers will come. Thank you.
Perfect timing, David. Thank you very much for being very short. So, David, we will have additional time at the end of the session for everyone to ask you questions. However, I just wanted to highlight a few things and want to hear your comments. So, you mentioned that one of the key things in the process, in all the phases of the government's involvement in the process is data provision. And you mentioned that it's very important to digitize that data. And you say that there are some companies, there are some organizations like USGS, like GTK, etc. They're very experienced. My question is, can you maybe, with your experience, can you show us Central Asian countries, other developing countries that could be a good example for us to learn about the process of data digitization? So not the OECD countries, but
Sure.
developing.
One of the governments that I put up there was the Saudi Arabian government. They've been very keen to develop additional pillars to their economy besides oil and gas. So they've been wanting to encourage a lot of investment. So they have opened their geological databases to investors. They have also funded some significant regional programs to be able to provide this information so that explorers can say, well, I would like to look more in this area, so please can you give me a license for this area, and I will then commit to spend this much money exploring here. But I can try and find some other examples as well, but I don't think it's by being an OECD country that makes it difficult, which makes it easier. The key point is to, first of all, understand what do explorers want to take out from the data portal. So they don't just want pages of documents. They want to have the data in a format which is going to be useful for them to be able to analyze. And if you can then put that information in the right ways, so they can then take it out, then you'll have a much more successful outcome. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you very much. And just to add up, Saudi Arabia is now talking about the super region, which also includes the Central Asian countries. So in that regard, that's it could be a good bridge between super region countries and Saudi Arabia. Thank you very much. So I would like to give, I will do that.
Till when the presenter is going to speak one language, I'll be going to talk the same language so that our interpreters would be easier to switch. So my next floor I would like to give to Miss Lyubov Yegorova, who is representing company G&K, so Navai Combinat. She has experience of 20 years in mining business, and today she'll talk about Western Uzbekistan and paleo deposits. I would like to add that yesterday and today I spoke a lot with our colleagues from Uzbekistan, from geologists. I've been hearing about that paleo Zoe and Western Uzbekistan. I understand that for our brotherly country this is a very vital issue, so it would be quite interesting to listen to you, Ms. Yegorova, your ideas and thoughts about that. So let us give a round of applause to our beautiful speaker.
I suppose the topic of these closed territories, it's not relevant only for Uzbekistan but also for Kazakhstan, because all structures are leading there. So I think it will be interesting for everyone. So I am the director on mineral resources of Navoi Mining and Metallurgical Company. for 4 years, we've been actively involved in developing resource base of company. In order to provide the growth of the company, we are actively initiating the geology exploration, and also we expanded our licensed territory 2 years ago, and we received big territories around 500 kilometers from our processing territories. And in order to provide organic growth and to have this actually pyramid which you are looking right now on the slide, so we are actively developing this organic growth. So the company have a very strong resource base, and if you can see this pyramid, it's already all provided. So of course some things are at the stage of exploitation, some of the at the stage of construction, some of them at the stage of feasibility studies. Everything we have, but the exploration and searching is a new, I would say, direction, and it is being developed right now. So here you can see the map. It's a scheme, it's not a scale. Maybe you will not understand it, recognize it. It's a western Uzbekistan. Actually, these Mesocenozoic sediments, you can see it. So why is it so sacral? Why we are talking about it? It happens that actually here in the territory of Uzbekistan, these Mesocenozoic sediments, they include like very huge deposits of gold were founded. If you can see green and yellow spots, it's actually the deposit which is in the western Uzbekistan, and they are actually belong most of them to Navoi Mining and Metallurgical Company. And you can see also some hydrometallurgical factories. They are pointed by pink sheep, and the resource date database of these it's a very huge reserves, and they belong to the territory of 150 kilometers, and all of this is Mesocenozoic sediments. But only 25% of this territory of Uzbekistan, it is open, because these Mesocenozoic sediments, like 75 of the territory is covered, so it's closed. So you can just imagine that 145 million is already there, but you can just imagine what perspective is under this covered or closed territory. So what we can say about this closed territories? Here there's also some confusion. We can see it is interesting that these objects, we call it hidden objects or weakly radiated, it is still in these Mesocenozoic sediments, but they are like in the depths. There are also blocked objects. It is the same deposits of these Cenozoic sediments, but they are blocked. Actually, the David called it like desert. And also there is a third type when they are hidden and blocked or buried, and it is the most difficult type, and it's actually not effective approach to find it. So we just decided to leave it to our descendants, and we wanted to work with two types: hidden objects and blocked objects. So I don't have a big slot of time, that's why I will go fast. The setting the task, it's a capacity of overlap deposits till 300 meters, because all methods of geochemical and geophysical approaches, they are effective only up to this depth. Of course, the landscape, and then we have also the composition of overlapping roads, and the type of mineralization. It's gold quartz and gold sulfates, and we also have volcanic this host rock. So we have this kind of setting the task. And here also we have for the last few years, we just trying to understand what complex of methods will give us the most effective result, and we really had a lot of methodological research to find it. So the first one is a historical data analysis, and the previous speaker already mentioned that together with the Institute of Mineral Resources, it's IMR in the Republic of Uzbekistan, we are actively trying to find the new information and interpret the already existing information. We also have geological map, dynamic map, geological map of the foundation, a map of the patterns of ore deposits, and different kind of maps. We work for historical data analysis. So we just try to make an analysis of it, what was changed, like new theory, the new theory of geodynamic, and like together with it we can have this foundation. The next one is remote sensing. The method is applied in hidden objects, the first type. And beside this description of satellite images, we also have the field work when we actually go to the field, and with the spectrometers, you can see here on the slide, we can check this spectral of these the interpretation, and like we can understand what we have with this. Just to make clarification of these and confirmation of these images, and we can see also the semantic changes. And of course here we can build a theory of positioning the objects, the hidden objects, like weakly radiated or non-radiated objects. The next method is the geological and structural mapping. It is also effective, the study of geological structured features of the location. And we together again with this institute previously mentioned, we also update the information. It's a classical mapping, and we understand what we are looking for, because we are looking these hidden objects. So here we also have the interpretation here, the what the geologists can share. The geophysical method of prospecting, so we call it magnetic exploration. It's a must-have method, and of course we've had a lot of magnetic exploration was done during Soviet Union time, but it was 1 to 10,000 scale magnetic exploration, and all information was not digitalized. It was all on the paper. That's why if we need to have real interpretation of this, we must have modern data, then we must have new magnetic survey that confirms historical data, and also we must do very trustworthy inversion, and of course it is we must have modern data, and that's why the scale 1 to 10,000 scale, which we do now, and we reinterpret historical data. And of course I must note that the Soviet magnetic exploration was quite trustworthy, because a lot of data actually was just reconfirmed, and of course we receive new modern data that can be useful in our estimation. And it is also regarding two types, it is hidden objects and blocked objects. So the magnetic exploration can help us to see both of it, and this is a new approach actually we tried last year. It is a geophysical prospecting method, direct current electrical exploration, and it can give us this electromography is the method of dipole electrical sensing, and we achieved it due to this overlaying the position in all our field. It was quite favorable, and the Kazakh region it is giving the electrical sensor to go very deep. That's why we didn't have any problem with it. And taking into consideration that we work closely to the existing companies, it was methodological method, so we worked in already known objects, and we didn't expect like giant blockages, but it was we had some, but it was not really critical. That's why we received very good signal, and this method of this dipole electrical sensing and this method of VP, and studies have shown the effectiveness of the use of VP methods in the modification of SG and topography, and we could really divided in the framework of interpretation, like sulfate mineralization and coal mineralization, and we could really have it. And for this and for this specific territory, it's a very good method. Then we started that for us, actually, the method of modification of VPSG is actually the most favorable for us, and topography, because it is very effective and it works. Like recently on the Kızılkum region, very actively YP method was being used, but it is like a surface object. That's why it is not working for us. And methodological work showed that this method I already mentioned is very effective. The next one, some field works we did, and like we did the AMT method, the alternating current electrical exploration. The AMT method, I will see it's on the changeable field, and it is for finding the depths, the objects which are in depths, and we had on the Muruntau field, where we have our main object. We plan to do the AMT method, to see the method of transients, to see where the depth, because we can have here kilometers to use, and that's why we already did some, but we also planned, like we did it partially, and we actively will use this method. So from the point of geochemical methodology, here we have geochemical methods, and here we saw the modification of this of this mercury, and like I'm finishing. So we have the results of here, and it is only the beginning, but the structure we wanted to see, the mercury this showed us very well the structures, and like the method is very actually easy to use and very quick to use. That's why it's effective in identifying tectonic structures, and I think we will use it for hidden objects. And we started work also on the method of sorption salt halos. We call it's called CSR, when we have the method is based on extraction and subsequent measurement of the concentration of chemical elements present in the soil cover in mobile and fixed forms. And after that we have complicated processing, and we worked in this direction, and we had a few methodological work, and we started to understand what we are looking for, and the results are not bad. The sensibility to this method is up to 300 meters. We already tried this depth, and these orders we already knew, so it was really correlating with this halo of this CSR method. This method is not very difficult, but it can give us a picture not only geophysically, because it's not direct approach. It is in definition of what it is having under the Cenozoic sediments. So the next, it is the drilling of structural and mapping wells, and we also do it in the parts which are like quite known. We already have some primary data on geophysics and geochemistry, so we can call it confirmation, checking, and just confirmation. So for us, we have this optimal range of search operations. On the stage, first we use remote sensing, where it is available, structural mapping, and also did magnetic exploration, and also the electrical exploration by the MPP method, and we call it SEM in English, and it will also be very useful. This is stage 1, and maybe it will be a regional stage. The second stage of search operation, in the selected promising areas, it's electrical exploration by the VPSG method with refinement in the tomography variation, then with tomography, then the geometry, the Altmo geochemical survey, and with the point the IMTZ method, and the stage 3 structural and mapping drilling. So I think this is the optimal range which we formulated for us, and it is quite effective in Kızılkum region for its geological peculiarities. Unfortunately, I took more time, but thank you for your attention. Both. It was very interesting presentation. Actually, I wrote down 7 questions. It would be very long if I ask all of them, but very shortly, I would like to ask you. Mentioned you had some ideas together with this geological institute on these deposits of sulfide, and this is new ideas of genetics. Is it? Do you have some scientific research or works? Is it published somewhere? No, actually, we have just started. It is just preliminary stage of data collecting, and it will take some huge amount of time. It will take time, like for 6 months already. We're processing the data, but the Institute of Geology, they already have some research and some data because they have been working on this for a long time, obviously. So they are now actualizing the information, updating the information. They also promote the foreign experts who have been working in this Kizilkum region very long time ago. So we will have a new scientific research, scientific work. Of course, it will be published because also one of the tasks of university is to develop the science. That's why it is the beginning, but we have this big direction. And very briefly, you said you have a lot of information which we can call like indirect. Did you do some preliminary estimation or preliminary? Yes, of course, we already did all models. We already actually estimated all resources. I said that it's indicated inferred mineral, so it's very good. Good luck to you. It is very interesting project.
So now we're switching to the representative of Ezan Exashibashi, Mr. Seygun Keles. He's the exploration manager of the company, and he's going to be presenting today information about unlocking operating potential in the Kazakhstan's Urals. Please. And please have a round of applause for Seygun. It's his first time presenting on a big audience, so please be gentle to Seygun.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks. My name is Saygun, and I'm the exploration manager of Esen Kazakhstan. Today, I would like to talk about copper and zinc potential of the Southern Urals in Kazakhstan. And I want to share how our exploration team is trying to unlock that potential. So, firstly, I would like to introduce Esen. We are a subsidiary of Eczacıbaşı Group, which is a industrial conglomerate of Turkey. And as you can see, we have a global footprint here. We have operations in Turkey and Italy, Ukraine, and we have projects in Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and we have some sales office all around the world. So this presence reflects our strategy. As a part of this strategy, we established South Ural Resources in Kazakhstan with the national mining company Talken Samruk. In this, we have nearly 1,000 kilometers square, covering 6 licenses we collected. Since then, we are working on Aktobe region, which the part of Urals. So I would like to talk about Urals. Urals is the one of the oldest and largest metallogenic belt, extending from Russia across to northwest of the Kazakhstan. So in this belt there are lots of deposits such as VMS, porphyries, orogenic gold, PGA, and chromite. So some of these deposits, such as Gai, Ucheli, and Sibay, are very large, and their individual tons exceed more than 100 million tons. So these projects mostly discovered and developed during the Soviet era, and most of them are located in the Russian part of. In contrast of the Kazakhstan segment, so It's still largely unexplored, and there is still potential to discover a large deposit in the Urals. We have same geological settings in that region. So our projects sit in the Urals metallogenic belt. Our project is within 200 kilometer distance, and we focused mainly 3 projects. So one of them is on the north, and we have a big area, about 670 kilometers square in the center, and we have another project in the southern part. So mostly we focused here copper and zinc, and you can see our area of interest is close to the mining region. So, to modernize the mineral exploration, we used a lot of geological and geophysical data into the AI, and we created some prospectivity mapping. So these areas showing our mineral prospectivity mapping, we combined geological, geophysical data sets, including geological maps, structural maps, and some occurrences into this. Also, remote sensing. And this approach is to highlight the areas which can show us the prospective areas. So by using that mineral prospectivity mapping, we have created several targets in our licenses. So, and you can see here, our licenses is close to some of the mines. One of them is Yubileyniy porphyry copper. It's about 10 million tons, like 0.4% copper and 6 grams gold. And there is another VMS project in the north, Kunduzlu VMS. It's about 26 million tons of ore. And we have created several targets by using this mineral prospectivity mapping. And we completed more than 10,000 meters of drilling, geophysical studies, and including geological mappings, mainly focused on copper within Devonian to Carboniferous volcanic and sedimentary sequences. So this is one of our projects. It's Jarlaşa. This project developed during the Soviet era also. We have lots of geological Soviet era time data, and we digitized. So we created a block model and resource estimation for the Soviet times. It's about 1.5 million tons copper and zinc. And in 2024, we completed 2,800 meters of drilling, and we tried to extend our mineralization, and we tested some geophysical anomalies. And in this project, we completed 14 kilometers of geophysical lines. So, and we saw that ore body is correlating with some of our geophysical anomalies. So, in last year drill hole, that one is ZAD13. We intersected like 126 meters of 1.23% copper and 2.27 zinc mineralization in our drill hole. So you can see the ore zone, it's starting from 30 meters and it continues down to I can't feel all ozone. And now we are trying to complete our in-house maiden resource, and as a result of some of geophysical studies, we have still potential to do southeast of our area. Including VMS targets, we have also that porphyry targets. It's from the our mineral prospectivity mapping, and also we observed some of Soviet drill holes in these area. So now our team is trying to complete geological mapping and defining the K alteration zones, and we are digitizing some of all drill logs, drill sections. So this is one of the sections. They intersected really nice grades in some of these drill holes. And for this year, we would like to work on this project more, and we want to ready to drilling. This is our another VMS target. It's geological. So we intersected some really good results in these zones. There are still strong evidences for chimney structures and some stockwork zones. And this project is also in our we try to improve the project for next year. So this is our another target. It's close to the Limaneo deposit, which located like 15 kilometers of our north of our licenses, and we have completed drone max, 2,500 gravity points, and we have some drill-ready targets. This is really prospective area for VMS exploration, and this in 2025 we will test these targets. So also we have another target. We call it Yangana. There are lots of targets in this area. Last year we completed VIP geophysical studies on that area. So it shows really prospective areas within 2 kilometers of zones. And we have several targets like skarns. We have some indicators like garnets on the surface. So within this year, we also try to work on this project. And we have really good grades on the rock samples up to 1 gram gold. And this is our another target. We also completed vector IP on that region. It has some similar geological settings with our Jarlasha project, like VMS project. So in that year, we will also work this project. And some of our key achievements, we completed more than 10,000 meters of drilling. So we have strong evidence for VMS and porphyry type mineralization, and we established our company with the national mining company Tauken Samruk. So we have some strategic advantages. It's our project sits in the Ural orogenic belt, and there is still some explored areas. We have potential for porphyry copper deposits, also VMS deposits. It's a really prospective area. Our licenses is covering more than 1,000 kilometers squares with 6 licenses. 4 of them is in partnership with Tauken, and 2 of them owned by ESAM. So what's next? We will continue to our exploration works in that region, and we would like to do some regional geophysics to define deep-seated anomalies, and additional drilling programs, and continue to mapping, geochemical sampling, and structural interpretations. And we will try to define new targets. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Segun. Segun, first of all, that was a perfect first experience. You did a very good job. My question is, so you mentioned that you had lots of field work and also lots of analyzing old Soviet data. How big was the involvement of the local manpower in that process? Because I think that's important for both Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan, for all Central Asian countries, is for us to develop our geological and mining manpower. So was it mostly people from your company, from your staff from Turkey, or was it people from the local manpower?
Our priority is employ our local people. So we have really good colleagues, and we keep trying to employ local people. So they have good backgrounds, like SEME and other universities in the Kazakhstan. So they have really good geological background, and so that's important for us.
Thank you. And last question, do you have any plans to expand your presence in Uzbekistan or in other Central Asian countries?
Yeah, we have a project in Uzbekistan also. Now our exploration team is working on that project, and we have completed more than 6,000 meters of drilling here, and also employ local geologists in Uzbekistan.
Thank you, teşekkür ederim. So please, now let's have a floor to our next speaker. Mohamed Shafiq is the general director of the company which is called Kazakh Minerals, and they are working in the green iron ore concentrate business and working on the Lomonosovsky iron ore project. So please have a round of applause for Mr. Mohamed Shafiq.
Good morning, everyone. I'm presenting here Kazakh Minerals Inc. It's a Canadian holding company that owns Lomonosovsky iron ore mines in Kazakhstan. The Kazakh Minerals Inc. was previously listed in Toronto Exchange Venture Market. However, we acquired all minority share and transitioned the company to a private ownership by Dubai investors. My presentation today will be about the future outlook of the green iron ore, addressing the challenges and strategic milestones from Lomonosovsky iron ore project in Kazakhstan. My presentation will start with a small introduction. We'll talk about the global iron ore structure, supply, and trade overview. We will continue with the concentrate supply structure, and we'll talk about the carbon reduction and the green steel production with the green iron ore. We'll talk about the short-term demand outlook and the long-term demand outlook, and we'll take the case study, the Lomonosovsky iron ore project in Kazakhstan, and the strategic milestone and the decision for the future. This is not working, it seems. Oh, next, no, sorry. The global iron ore supply structure, it is estimated to reach 2.65 billion ton in year 2025, making an increase of 60 million ton compared with last year. The top producer, as you see here, for sure is Australia with almost 1 billion ton, followed by Brazil, about 500 million ton. We have also China and India, and also Ukraine, Kazakhstan, Peru, and Chile. These are the top producers of iron ore in the world. Now, if you look at the global iron ore export taking year 2024, actually the global iron ore consumption, according to Big Mint, which is a trusted platform for price reporting, market intelligence, and consulting, the iron ore consumption grew 12% on a yearly basis. However, due to the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, this is moderated during the last year, 2024, just to 5%, reaching 2.63 billion ton. From the chart, we can see that Australia is the biggest iron ore exporters with 866 million ton, an increase of plus 1%, followed by Brazil. However, we can see some shortage, especially in Sweden, Kazakhstan, due to this conflict. The global concentrate supply structure grew approximately to 730 million ton in year 2024, reflecting a 19 million ton increase from last year. The concentrate accounting around 30%, 28 to 30% of the iron ore supply in the whole world. The top producer of the concentrate for sure is China at the first place, followed by Brazil. We have Australia as well, Canada, Chile, Kazakhstan, and South Africa. Concentrate is a kind of iron ore, however, enriching with a high Fe and low impurities. If you want to talk about the green iron ore or green concentrate, which is followed by carbon reduction and green steel production, we have to take the recommendation of the climate conference COP28 held in Dubai and COP29 in Baku, Azerbaijan. Now, every ton these days of production of steel make an emission of carbon CO2 in the air about 1.8 ton of carbon emission, every ton with 1.8. The recommendation is to reach 0.290% reduction in year 2050. For sure, China contribute the biggest CO2 emission in the world because they produce the most steel tonnage, followed by Japan, USA, European Union, Germany, and South Korea, and others. This can be done by producing the green iron ore and the green concentrate. Now, to reach, or let us say to reach this green iron ore or green concentrate, we have to make the quality, high quality of green concentrate or green iron ore. This quality should be with Fe at least minimum 66% of Fe in the concentrate, ideally should be 67. And the impurities, the alumina and silica, should be at least 3.5, but the ideal should be maximum 2%. Phosphorus could be ideally 0.015%, but maximum up to 0.08. By using this material in the electric arc furnace, we produce the green steel, and the emission of the carbon will reach almost between 0.2 to 0.6 ton per each ton of steel production. Now, if we look at the short-term demand outlook of the concentrate in year 2024 to year 2030, there is an expand of almost 7.1% of compound annual growth rate. However, they did not shift fully to the green iron ore. They shift gradually to the green iron ore to meet the new environmental regulation. However, for the long-term demand outlook of the concentrate between year 2031 to 2050, everybody should follow the rules, otherwise there will be a big fine on steel production. and they should go to the green concentrate and the green iron ore. For sure, there will be a shortage between the demand and the supply. We can see from the chart here that in year 2035, the shortage will be around 50 million ton. However, in year 2050, the shortage will be around 200 million ton. By using the green technology and the green energy and the green concentrate with the electric arc furnace, we can reach with the minimum recommended carbon emission in the air around 0.2 ton for each ton of steel production. I will take here the Lomonosovsky iron ore, but I will go quick because of the time. The Lomonosovsky iron ore is located in the northern of Kazakhstan, around 90 kilometers from the Russian border in Kostanay region. The resources as per JORC report and KazRC is around 500 million ton of run-of-mine material. The production is around 74 million ton of green iron ore concentrate within over 20 years. The contribution of this project is for the green carbon-free steelmaking supply chain. The strategic decision, the advantages is high-grade concentrate. The infrastructure of the project and the proximity is excellent. Strategic location, very away from the seaborne iron. Optimized CapEx and OpEx due to the studies that we did for last 6 to 7 years, and implementation of artificial intelligence in our project. The challenges for sure is the financing of such project and the overburden of the project. Solution, we are making and signing offtake agreements with the big traders. We are signing EPCM contracts with a big contractor, international contractors, and we make partnership with the green technology providers. This is the project, and you can see from the location, it's in the northern part of Kazakhstan. The proximity is very good. You can see everything is within 10 to 5 kilometers. Our let us say market is in Kazakhstan, previously Russia, and currently Russia also for the non-sanctioned for sure producer of steels, and the northern of China, Xinjiang province, for example, Bao Steel, Shagan, and we are very close to the railway, so we are very close to the stations. Now, we did a lot of boreholes. We bought the boreholes from the government of Kazakhstan, and we confirmed it by doing new boreholing. Around 646 borehole being done, which account around 232,000 meters of drilling. This is lead to a JORC report done by mining associate in Hong Kong and Australia. Around 500 million ton being projected for the ROM, and with the FE around 30%. However, when we did the variability test in Corem laboratory in Quebec during COVID time, this FE has been raised to 30%, to 36%. However, you cannot take it into the JORC report because it needs a special. However, we know that the FE content is higher than 30%. For sure, we count also for phosphorus, sulfur, and Fe magnetite in the JORC report. Now, Wood Mackenzie in USA, they did for us the marketing study, and they addressed for us the serviceable addressable market, which is contain Kazakhstan, part of Russia, and part of China for sure. Now, the production will start in 2027. Nowadays, there will be the watering work ongoing at the site, plus the stripping will be followed maybe during this year. So the whole production will be around 74 million ton over 20 years of production. However, we will not take all the 500 million ton. We'll take almost 275 million ton out of it, and the balance will be undermining. Now, as per Wood Mackenzie in their variability test, Lomonosovsky will be the best as Fe contents and the second best as impurity silica and aluminum. Now, what we did in the mine during the exploration and part of the mining, we designed the beneficiation plant, high quality beneficiation plant by two big contractors from Australia, Logicam and Mincor. We did the pre-feasibility study and variability test with with the WAI in UK. We make the variability test by Quebec, Quorum Laboratory in Quebec. The marketing study has been done by Wood Mackenzie in USA. The bankable feasibility study has been done by WSB. The master mine plan has been done by Antal in Kazakhstan. We received most of the permit. Still, the final work permit is expected to be received during the third quarter of this year. Dewatering activities has been started at the mine and the stripping to be followed. Actually, we did also evaluation for the project by Wood Mackenzie. This has been done during this year, and the final report has been submitted last Friday in Dubai to our shareholders on 20 June 2025. If our material that we supply in 2027 are used with the electric arc furnace, whether in the natural gas or hydrogen, the emission will be between 0.6 to 0.2 carbon, which is evaluated as a green steel production. Now, I'll give just a short overview of MySteel CEDEX index pricing of Fe62. We are Fe67 higher. However, this will be from 2015, within 10 years, till 2025. You can see the drop and rise of the prices. However, if you take the average, it would be around $99 to $100 within 10 years of production of this material, Australian fines. What we are doing actually later on for the strategic milestone and the future decision for the future, we are looking at the offtake agreement, signing the offtake agreements with the big traders, and also we are securing the EPCM contracts. We are maintaining the sustainability and innovation in the research and development. Now, conclusion and way forward, I mean, you can say that iron ore concentrate trade is crucial for sustainable industrial growth. Investment in such high quality project like Lomonosovsky ensure reliability and sustainable supply chain. Thank you. Sorry for taking more time.
Thank you very much. So my question would be a shorter one. You mentioned that your main customers are plants in Russia and in China. However, my question is, do you plan to have any logistical plans to export your goods to Europe, to North America, or maybe to Far Eastern countries?
Actually, if you want to export our product to Europe or let us say abroad, and the sea, you have to enrich. You don't have to keep it at the concentrate level. You have to go to HBI. If we go to HBI or pellets, the transportation will be expanded. So if we have HBI, for example, project at the plant, and this is our shareholders, they are looking at this opportunity. Yes, we can even export to Chile, to Brazil, to anywhere. So it depends on the material. If we kept it at the concentrate, the transportation will be within this addressable, serviceable market that Wood Mackenzie defined for us.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Okay, now we switch to our guest from another Central Asian countries, from Mongolia, Bolorma Volodya. She's a representative of the Grata International. She's a partner. And we know that Grata is very well known for its legal advisory. Everyone knows about that. However, today Bolorma is going to present us more technical aspects of Grata's experience. So please, Bolorma.
Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and it's my pleasure to meet you all here in Tashkent. So my name is Blorma. I'm working as the partner of Kraka International Mongolia. So as our moderator mentioned that, Kraka International is an international law firm which has offices over 20 countries. And we have offices, law firms in all Central Asian countries. So today I'm going to present regarding generally the introduction about Mongolia, and I hope that you know that mining sector is also our key sectors. Our country is quite dependent on these sectors. And I would like to also share that, if your company is interested to do investment into Mongolia, what are kind of legal requirements you have to consider, to make a decision. So my first slide is, as shown, is we are located in Central Asia, and total territory is 1.5 kilometers square. So we are a landlocked country, and we have very big territory. However, our location population is just 3.5 million. So still 1/3 of the population is nomads. So we moving from one place to other place depending on the pasture of the livestock. And our capital city named Ulaanbaatar, and our currency is Turos, and we have own language Mongolian. So for the mining sectors, as mentioned before, that the country's economy is totally dependent on the mining sectors, because 25% of the GDP is produced by the mining sectors, and also over 90% of our exports are from mining sectors. So I prepared some numbers, statistical numbers, to share that, by end of the last year, the Mongolia has granted around 4% of its territory for the exploration and mining licenses. So if you see the number of the licenses is over 900 exploration licenses granted, and 1,756 mining licenses granted. So we have this number of the mines in Mongolia. And in terms of the key minerals, I just put the last 3 years the mineral production numbers. So we are producing coals. The coal we exporting and sell to China. Secondly, we have copper concentrate as also our main key minerals, followed by the gold and iron ore. So I also try to show that, what's the total number of the reserves of all these 4 minerals. So as of last year, that total reserves number is kind of already confirmed and okay, so actually, I think Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, even as Mongolia, we have similar kind of maybe regulation. However, I would say that the mining sector is regulated sector. So every step you take in mining sectors, it should be require certain permits from the authority. So in Mongolia, the government agency named the Mineral Resources and Petroleum Authority is responsible for granting exploration mining licenses, and they also oversee all related activities. Like if the company got the exploration license, they have to submit this environmental protection plan and report annual basis to the same authority. And some other reporting requirements also applies to the exploration and mining license holding companies. So I would like to highlight that, before 2009, Mongolia has granted many exploration licenses. And that time, our legislation wasn't that strict. So since 2009, our legislation changed, and I would say in the past over 10 years' time, we haven't given and granted any new exploration licenses. However, our government become kind of, ambitious that from this year we need to grant new licenses for different kind of the minerals. So I would just like to highlight that every month around 50 to 100 exploration potential areas are kind of announced by the authority for the open bidding. So if the mining international company is interested to have new exploration license, they can register the foreign invested company in Mongolia, and they can participate with competition, open competitive bidding in order to get the license. So as our today's topic is more concentrated on critical minerals, we also do have some critical minerals of the lithium, rare element metals. So there is as of end of last year, there is a total 9 deposits of critical minerals registered in the Mongolia. So also we are doing some work on a coal gas exploration projects. So there is a certain resources already identified and verified. Here is the major 5 deposits. I think maybe you heard about Tawon is our main coal mine, followed by Oyu. This is a copper and gold mine, which is actually ranked as a fourth, as the largest in terms of the reserve. And it's followed by Erdenet. It's a state-owned companies running, and we also have 2 more uranium mines. The 5th one is we recently executed investment agreement with the French uranium company named Orana Mining. Here is the link and the general procedure of how you can apply for the exploration license. So if you have a company registered in Mongolia, and you can meet certain requirements of the manpower, equipment, and you have financial kind of capability to participate certain competitive bidding for the exploration license, you are most welcome. So as mentioned before that, we have 3 forms of the legal entities, which is kind of appropriate to do business in Mongolia. So first one is LLC, and we require minimum 100,000 USD to be invested, as a foreign investors. And if foreign investor is holding more than 25%, this minimum threshold is required. And joint stock companies is like the company can be listed on our stock exchange. They can issue IPOs, and those are like legal forms we're offering to the foreign investors to do business in Mongolia. I just try to summarize very briefly the main tax environment that for the corporate income tax, we have 2 tier of the system. So depending on the income of the corporate income tax, it will be 10 and 25%. Personal income tax, we have 3 different levels of the tiers. Depending on the income of the individuals, there will be income tax of 10, 15, and 20%. And also for the value-added taxes, for some services it will be 0, but most of the goods and services it will be 10%. For the custom goods, it will depending on the goods, it will be from 0 to 40%. And as comparing to maybe Uzbekistan, I think, because before Uzbekistan was a closed country for transferring the money to abroad, I just know about from yesterday's presentation. So we are quite open, and if the investor and the business people they already kind of resettle the tax responsibilities payments in Mongolia, they can transfer their dividends, profits to abroad to its parent company located in different countries. And also, Mongolia has 20 double taxation avoidance treaty with 26 countries. So I think it's very important the companies to make a decision from which countries they want to make an investment. So I think my timing is finished. I would like to summarize that, for the big investments, our government, under the investment law, is offering two different kinds of tax incentives. The first one is tax stabilization certificate. So depending on the value of the investment and the sectors, and whether the mining project is creating the workplaces and whether it's using high technology, we offer that 4 different kinds of tax can be stable if there is any amendments in the taxation legislation or these taxes is increased. So as I mentioned that there is a big 5 deposits we have. As we know that in mining sector we did investment agreements. So investment agreement is from one side the investor company, from other side the government of Mongolia. So in both cases, our government is holding 34% of the shares of the operating company, and the investor company is holding 66%. However, for getting the investment agreement, the investor needs to invest at the minimum 76 million USD, and there is a certain number of the years they have to complete investments. In that cases, they can have investment agreement. So if you have investment agreement, you will have like better of conditions than the standard legal terms. So it will be all depending on the investor's negotiation skills with the government. And what else we are offering is for construction term of the, for example, petroleum plant, or the investors going to construct export product plants, there will be 0 custom duties and 0 VATs for imported equipment and machineries. And this one is the conclusion of my presentation. So I just want to highlight, as I mentioned, that we are open, to the mining companies to participate in competitive bidding. So we have this 50 to 100 sites per month. It's announced online. And also we have key 4 minerals, which is actually extracted in notable amounts and exported, while we have phosphorus, zinc, and oil also, we're extracting them in small amounts. And we do offer certain tax incentives to our investors. So it's the end of my presentation, and thank you for your attention, and happy to have any questions.
Thank you very much, Mohan. So we see that Mongolian government has a sophisticated system of taxation for the investors to incentivize them, to attract them to come to Mongolia. How does the government protect the investors? So, for instance, from not very good things like some nefarious things. Is there any mechanisms of protection?
Actually, our investment law is under discussion. We're going to adopt new investment law maybe within this year. We try to have a better protection for the investors that, just next to the Prime Minister, there will be special consuls, which will be more specialized for protecting the foreign investors' interests. And if there is any issues or any problems, then I think the investor can approach to the consul in order to have a protection and get resolve the problem. And also, it's something new we're going to actually regulate under the new investment law is if there is any dispute for like foreign investors, we're going to have arbitration clause on our regulation that it can be mandatory because also, our court system is very slow and it also affects adversely to the foreign investors to do business in Mongolia. Like in average, it takes over 1 year and even longer to resolve the commercial civil disputes. So we try to have, better kind of protection to the investors that investor can use the arbitration for the protection of the, interests.
Thank you. Perfect. And the next word I want to give to Anna Fonseca. Anna Fonseca is a very well-known geologist, and I've met her several times in Canada, in Kazakhstan, in other places. She's a big fan and a big propagator of Central Asian geology. So please give a floor to Mrs. Anna Fonseca.
Hello, I'm here representing the Society of Economic Geologists, and our let's get straight to it. Today I'm talking about infrared spectral scanning applied to geometallurgical work. Traditional metallurgical approach is to find a place which is more or less representative of a mine, take a big bulk sample there, and send that for the traditional test work, metallurgical test work. Geologists, we know very well that the characteristics of a mineral deposit change in the length of meters to tens of meters. So there's no one bulk sample, no matter how big it is, that can be representative of the geology and mineralogy of that deposit. And that produces a lot of surprises during the processing of the metals. But we've known that for over 500 years. Agricola highlights that in his book, De Re Metallica. And that's why our modern... How do I get this back? Modern geometallurgy approach is to, instead of using a bulk, want to be representative sample, we use geological domains that are realistic to build geometallurgical blocks that convey the uncertainties in their input data. And that's only been possible since the end of last century, beginning of this century, with the advent of quantitative mineralogical methods such as ChemScan, MLA being available to them in commercial laboratories. Now, the biggest advance in geometallurgy happened, in my mind, it happened during the pandemic time when we were sitting home and assembling large databases of spectral data, infrared spectral data. And at the same time, the technology of digital twins in mines was advancing faster than ever. So, okay, how do I get it back? By the end of the pandemic, of the pandemic, I was already seeing in most of the mines in North and South America, they were already using these conveyors, these self-built, transportable infrared spectral scanners in the mines, and they produce these mineral maps that have data extracted from them and fed directly into the geometallurgical blocks. Now, infrared spectral scans, what we get from them are each pixel has a spectrum from which we can identify minerals. However, to quantify those minerals so that we can really have a good understanding of the heterogeneity of the deposit, we need to calibrate the spectral scans with those quantitative analysis, XRD, X-ray diffraction analysis like ChemScan and MLA. Now, once that quantification is done, the calibration quantification is done, then we can start producing models. We can model the crushing and milling demands. We can model flotation recovery, frothing amounts, and basically energy consumption. And that's where the digital twin technology comes in. Digital twin technology takes in the data from the geometallurgical blocks and uses machine learning analysis and artificial intelligence to simulate, to produce a live simulation of the entire processing of the ore. So we can predict all of the consumption, all of the demands, and we can remove the uncertainties and the risk before we even ship the ore to the plant. The new advances on geometallurgy, currently we're starting to see more and more infrared spectral scans of the pits themselves, because it was great to be able to scan the drill holes, but there are spaces in between the drill holes where we don't have information. And with the spectral scans of the pits, we're doing now much better. And self-learning twins, digital twins, again, that's the more improvements in that AI technology. And besides using the infrared spectral data, we're starting to use more and more the infrared spectral images with the convoluted neural network algorithms being able to look at spatial relationships between the pixels. There are still some gaps. The technology is never perfect. There are still some gaps. Some of the major gaps that I see is that quantification, that calibration with quantitative data. Typically, we're dealing with a small data set of quantitative analysis and a huge data set of infrared pixels that we have mineral identification for. So that's a weak spot. And more mines are getting their own XRDs, X-ray diffraction machines in the mine site, so that they can do those analyses and quantify on the go and feed that data directly into their digital twins. And the other problem is we have algorithms that do a very good job modeling the simulating the process, the metallurgical process, but they're really hard to explain, even though they do work quite well, but they're not very easily explainable in machine learning, especially convoluted neural networks. Now, in spite of that, geometallurgy is in conclusion, it's a very data-hungry discipline, and that data hungriness is fed by infrared spectral data currently. That's the main input data source. Combined with other data sources, we're able to simulate the whole mine-to-mill process and reduce the surprises that are typically very costly. And by doing that, we effectively improve the value of the mine. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, Anna, can you please tell me? So, I've seen lots of presentations and lots of discussions regarding that there is a new breakthrough that's going to happen very soon. That if you have a good data, and I like the picture that you've shown, that if you train it on trash, then it's going to crash. Yes. So if you have a very good data, comprehensive, clean data, and you basically feed it into the some machine, some data scientific algorithm, etc., is it possible to build a geological model or geometallurgical model just based on that artificial intelligence or just based on that algorithm? Or is it like a magic, still magic?
I wouldn't say it's magic. It does require the expert metallurgist to define the parameters that are fed into the machine learning algorithm. So machine learning will look for patterns that our brain is not sophisticated enough to realize, to see. But unless we give it the right information and the right direction, orientation, and that comes from the expert engineers in the mine, the machine learning alone won't do the job.
But if we will try to foresight, maybe not now, but maybe in 10 years, is it possible that you don't need a good, basically good geologist, a good geophysicist, good modeler? You just can give the good data to the algorithm and it's going to build your model, maybe in 10 years.
I would think that in 10 years, about 70% of the workforce is going to be reduced, yes, but there will still be a 30% good ones, the real good ones.
That's very ominous. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you. And now we're going to switch to the representative of service company Geochem Scientific Production Center, Mrs. Sabine Kudai-Bergen. And I think it's very interesting that we have today not just the mining companies or consultants, but also our service companies. Service companies, our hands, our legs, are those people who provide us the good, reliable data.
These are those people who give us very good quality geophysical, geological information. Earlier we had Representative Lyubov Yegorova from Navai Kombinat. She spoke a lot about geomethods that they currently use to make the working Paleozoic deposits. In our current speaker, Kemal, who represents company Excalibur. Such people who can give us any new breakthrough data in terms of technologies and geophysical research. That's why let's listen to Sabina about applying geophysical data, and let's give her a round of applause, please. Hello, dear participants of forum.
Dear colleagues, I would like to share about our company Geogen, and we also would like to talk more about this. So the goal of my presentation is to demonstrate what methods and technologies we use for solving specific tasks on the digitalization, interpretation of geological and geophysical materials. And the presentation is consisting from few parts. I would like to share about our company, also main areas and types of activities. And then we will talk about the complex magnetic observation methods, and the last one is technologies. The Georgian company was founded in 1997 on the basis of Aerogeophysics GSC, Kazakh branch of the All Union Institute of Exploration Geophysics, Kazvir. And it is a leading Kazakhstan company performing a wide range of services and scientific research in the field of geological and geophysical, hydrographic, topographic, geodesic research and engineering surveys. So the main activities of our company is aerogeophysics research, aeromagnetic survey, iron gravimetric survey, also electrical exploration, magnetic exploration, gravity exploration, geophysical research of wells, engineering surveys and surface monitoring, hydrographic work, cartography, and GIS services. Also, we provide services in complex interpretation of geological modeling and consultation work. The Georgian company has international and national experience. The key international projects were done in Bolivia and India. We are participating in realization of program phase 1 of the International Eurasia project, ZAPCAP Nedra. And we also, over 27 years of modern experience, the company has completed different kind of projects. And I would like to say that 95% of gravity work in Kazakhstan was made by company Georgian. Our company has different customers, unions and associations, including governmental and private companies, international mining companies and oil companies, scientific and research universities. Also, our company is a member of different kind of association. You can see them present on the slide. So first method we use is the magnetic exploration, and the places where we have this interest, we did this exploration in different places. First, it's iron physical, it's magnetic and iron the method and the magnetometric method, and we also did the detailed magnetic field exploration in the scale of 2000. And I would like to say that new magnetometric data are very specific and detailed on these fields. So according this, during Soviet time, there was some aero and magnetic exploration. And you can see it was based on historical date. And I would like to give the difference. And for some scale of, we need some research which are really accurate, and that's why the exploration method which is being used now, it is not it cannot be replaced by other methods, and we of course need field research. And using this data with the VPA, we can also have additional opportunities to build new models which are more reliable. The next one I would like to say about digitalization of materials from different period of times. Should we digitalize or should we use it during interpretation? On the left side, you can see the scheme which was used when they started to build a model of magnetic field, and it was the different point of time. It's 1955 and 1977, and also it was used the model of gridnity, the geosoft versus montage aeromagnetic survey scale contours. From the right side, you can see the anomalous magnetic field intensity scale map, and based on this anomalous, it's of course the scheme of materials used for compiling a digital mode of magnetic field. It's just historical data because it's like covered by the mask shade. And the research of geophysical materials from different years, it's digitized points of extreme valence of the animals magnetic field. Of course, the previous old works we can use just as some let's say data, but we need to of course make the detailed because they're not very effective when we use the detailed mapping. And besides the vectorization of maps, we also, as I mentioned, provide the GIS services, and starting from the scanning and processing these images to creating database. On the left side, you can see the paper picture, and from the right side, you can see the art geese. It's a project we created, and it's just an example how the art geese mosaic created from georeferenced raster images. As I said, we also do the cartographic project geological and geophysical studies. Here you can see the layout materials in paper, and also ArcGIS mapping project created from a database. Also, we do the vectorization of geophysical maps, bringing results to a single level and consolidated digital models of physical fields. The next I would like to share is about high precision gravimetric survey. We use very high accurate Canadian gravimeters. We also use modeling, root of foundation modeling, identification of geological structures promising for oil and gas or minerals, and other tasks we can solve with our gravimetric survey. Here is an example of survey results according to things on the magnetic field, and also classification of local anomalies and gravitational anomaly scheme. We also did the definition of territory based on this correlational analysis of data, and as it was shown by practice, the data which is being used in algorithms is quite effective when we have the task of definition and mapping. In the result of this geophysical research of survey results, we found out some the new data which we didn't have on geological map, and also the borders of intrusive massive was being done, and also you can see here the projection of ore bodies on the surface, center lines of gradient zones, axial lines of negative anomaly zones, and contours of intrusive massives, and others. Also what we are doing is geophysical research of wells. It's hardware and software complex, hardware and software complex GeoVista, and we use different methods. Also we do downhole pulse electrical exploration, the transient process method, the cron geophysics technology, and the Geogen is the only single one company in Kazakhstan which can do this exploration method. Electrical exploration, we do it by the means of methods of induced polarization, audio and magnetotelluric sensing, frequency sensing method, charging methods of electromagnetic sense, and borehole electrical exploration. You can see here what we use as equipment. Also an example of the results of electrical and magnetic exploration work. We can see here the deep models of resistivity, polarizability, time parameter, gold index, metal factor interpretation scheme, and the zoning of the site according to the magnetic field data with elements of interpretation. We also can find the places, and based on the complex interpretation of these data, we found the perspective places and the recommended points where we can start doing the work, the local. But in conclusion, I would like to pay attention to the program. The project IOS LAMP, Australian Lithospheric Architecture Magnetotelluric Project, and it is the interest is growing on the big human data, and it requires new approach of planning geophysical approach in Central Asia, and also if you would like to draw your attention, what international experience is had, which was done, and it is the purpose of us data collection, and the results will provide new information to the regions with potential mineral energy resources. And here, the Ausland program, we can see here that it is being published when it's also available for scientific society. Here we see the model of electrical exploration in the depths of 36 kilometers, and it also can help understand the structure of lithosphere when forming exploration of the minerals, oil, and geothermal deposits. This method is widely used in the exploration of it, as well as studying of the Earth's crust and mantle. Also, I think you're very well aware of them. The it's up to 100 kilometers. It's a model of the world, and it's showing them gold, copper, uranium ores and promising sites. It is perspective and already known place. Also, the examples are showing the role of entire exploration. Unfortunately, time is over, so here I have some examples of future research at Earthscope in USA, and also in Canada it is called Metal Earth. In conclusion, I would like to say that in the world, of course, the interest is growing to find new ores, and of course, it requires new approaches to planning geophysical activities, not only in Kazakhstan but in all over Central Asia. And we really assume that we can realize potential of Central Asia by the approaches we already described because our company has been doing this different exploration for a very long period of time. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Sabina. I actually have two questions. I would try to make it brief. The first question, you showed examples of vectorization of mapping. How long does it take, like approximately, like ordinary geological map with some how long does it take to do it to vectoral format? The second one is the second question is we know that there are leaders like collectors, they have patented technologies. Now you also show your technologies. So what is beneficial of your methods of geogen methods and the application in typical deposits on Central Asian countries? So, according to the vectorization of mapping, it depends on complex and the complication of the map. So, like average, I would say, starting from the scanning till the processing and creating the database, it can take around 2 days. 2 days, including the Legion of cards creation. So it is depending on scale. It's also depending on complications of the cards. The second one, what we do, the technologies we provide with a deep exploration, is the beneficial part of it is high accurate and also the depth of electric exploration, and also the scale and aim of work, and the also we have this deep depth and the scale. I would like to say that in this work, a big team is working. It's a national geological services and also scientific and manufacturing companies. So I think it's depth focus. Thank you very much. Next, I would like to give floor to the representative of the company Excalibur Smart Mapping, operational director Kemal Amanbayev. Excalibur is a famous company. It is being worked in different countries in Africa and Middle East. They also have a rep office in Central Asia. Let us give a class. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. I will talk about aerogeophysics and particularly what role it is playing and how it can interact investments to geological exploration and to the country. Very briefly about our company, the Excalibur is a leader in the field of aerogeophysics. We have performed more than for like 7 projects and more than 50 live kilometers shooting. We also have different offices, more than 1,400 completed projects, 16 offices around the world, 43 specialized airlines, 43 specialized airplane, aeronautics, and plus 100 geophysical systems. Also would like to know that we are being specialized in country projects, big projects, regional mapping. Here you can see on the slide with the red countries. We have active projects right now, and green part is the negotiation part, and dark green is already completed projects. Why aerogeophysics is important and what place it is having in this slide. We wanted to demonstrate on the Y we have the research depth, and X ox we have the territorial coverage. So if we just compare the deposits and geophysics on depth, it is limited by the deposit. 5 for example, let's say 5 kilometers, then the research should be 5 kilometers. For example, oil field, but it is not giving this territorial coverage. So it is the diameter of your. So you can find it depending on the valve. So the depth is a valve. So you cannot make the territorial growth. So also geophysics give us this. Actually spread of the 2 kilometers. So depending on the methodology, and colleagues already shared a lot about methods which we have, the ground geophysics. So we also have the satellite. We can learn a lot about. So it's a surface. Surface method is a hyperspectral. So it will not give us because in geology we need depth. So we can see why aerogeophysics is taking place as a like gold middle part, because it gives us research depth and also territorial coverage. So like it can go to thousands of kilometers, and also it is very effective using like these helicopters to make research in this territory. I will just give an example. In Kazakhstan, actually now we are doing in the south of Kazakhstan. So in one flight we cover 800 kilometers. So it's like 8 hours of flight. If you talk about regional if you talk about regional exploration, so it's like thousands of kilometers a day. Like one vehicle can really cover, let's say, the territory of Uzbekistan for 1 year. So two vehicles can make exploration of the whole Uzbekistan for 1 year. It's just an example. So how it is being used in practice? So one of the benefits of this modern geophysics when we use the opportunity to use two methods in parallel. For example, here we can see the Tesla Caravan. It's our technology, Tempest, and the aerogeological survey. Also, the gravimeter. We use gravimetrical dates, and we also do magnetic. So we use here three methods, and the interpretation of data is being improved.
So we process all this data, interpretation, then very important point, we provide this data to open access through the portal, what David was referring to earlier, minimizing the resistance between potential investor/geologist and modern good quality data. So a person, either geologist or investor, can see a potential, makes a decision to enter the country, starts investing into geological exploration. And the next phase is very important. Legislation must also be supportive, flexible, transparent. Time frame of considering the license must be short. In Kazakhstan, recently we had new code entering into force, working quite well, and we see new laws in Uzbekistan. So, in combination with this available data at the portal, which you can get access to from every office and eventually get a license. In Kazakhstan, since the moment entered, got a license, immediately they start having obligations in terms of minimal payments, investments. So investor cannot just get a license, get a plot of land and do nothing. So depending on the territory, the minimal amount of dollars invested into the geological exploration, and the money must be spent in terms of hiring people and making other investments. In addition to that, we have license payments directly into the budget, so every license automatically fills in the country budget. So also, if the money is spent, some companies earn this money, like drilling companies and so on. They pay taxes and they all come to the country's budget. Then the job of the government is to provide data, provide conditions, and maximize amount of such companies that will come into the country, buy licenses. Why the number of companies must be large? Geologists have their own vision, interpretation, and approaches, so the more companies and investors will do geological exploration, the more chances, statistically, some of them will eventually find something big. Once they make a big discovery, there would be different payments into the budgets, like taxes or something. In Kazakhstan, we have a big copper mine. They generate $500 million worth of taxes into the country budget. Not even mentioning development of infrastructure. And it would eventually lead to growing GDP. And one particular example mentioned also by Sabina anticipated this project in Australia, Explore for the Future. So the government of Australia, since 2016 to 2024, spent $255 million to collect regional data. We were in charge of aero and electrical exploration. We covered 4.2 million square kilometers through this technology. All this data is available. This is not just geophysics. Different methods of mapping are in open access. Any of you can get into their site and upload their data into your computer, open a program and start making an analysis. So the results. Using this data, more than 70 different companies, looking at the number of companies, more than 70 companies, geologists and so on, got more than 600 licenses with total area of almost 500,000 square kilometers in 8 years. Starting from 2017, only in Australia, they opened 7 world top-class deposits. 7 out of 10 were discovered using the data explored for the future project. Share of Australia in global expenditures on geological exploration increased from 80% in 2015 to 18% in 2023. Almost more than 20%. All the money spent in the world is done by Australia. And the next stage The program is called Resourcing Australia's Prosperity. Almost $500 million. Australia is a huge continent, 7 million square kilometers. So they're going to continue doing this aerial shooting, getting new data, new interpretation. All these data currently are in open access for investors. So that's basically what I wanted to share. We have a stand, a scalable smart mapping in the hallway, ready to answer any questions. Thank you for your attention. Thank you, Mo. I'm going to have two questions. First, you know that area geophysics is a good but expensive luxury, especially if a government is planning to cover whole or part of country's territory. It is very expensive. Do we have any mechanisms of speculation geophysics that you apply? Speculation geophysics? I don't understand what you mean. Okay, if there are some private companies which can pay to get higher geophysics to get a share from using this data. Okay, now I understand. We used to, well, not us, but other people in other countries used to apply such methods, especially in Africa. They still do it now, so-called multi-client approach. When several large companies are interested in a certain country's region, they pay shares and they pay for this. Well, important point, and actually David mentioned about it. Private companies will not fund such work if they will not get any preferences or guarantees that the company would be able to get a plot of land or get a license or something, or will get any mechanisms to motivate this company to fund this work. Normally, regular methods is when the government is funding this work. When you say it's expensive, actually that's the cheapest method. The cost of work must be related to the area that you cover through these methods. Why I mentioned the advantage is through complexing. In one flight, you can get several sets of data, 4 different shoots you make in one flight. It saves time and money because geological exploration means, in addition to money expenditures, means time. Time from a discovery to operation would take 10 years. Geological exploration might take 6, 7 years. So time is a big factor that investors pay attention to. So aerogeophysics allows to optimize these matters. Yes, of course, we understand that well, but this is money of taxpayers' money from the budget, so there are always certain sensitivity in this matter. Government employees would understand me well, my concerns. Thank you very much, Kemal. And in conclusion, I would like to say that we've been sitting here for 2 hours. I would like to thank our speakers. They were quite punctual. We haven't overstepped our time too much. We will step over, not exactly at 11 o'clock, but a bit later, because we have a very important speaker who joined us, representative from President's administration, Mr. Abdullah Abdulkadirov, I'm sorry. He is Deputy Director of Agency on Strategic Reforms under the President of Uzbekistan. We asked him to participate together with us today because, unfortunately, yesterday he was unable to participate in our main panel session, and he will be with us today. Please. Он на 20 минут сейчас зарядится. Точно говорю, очень. Shall I speak from here or shall I go there? Because I was said it would be Q&A. Either way, I can immediately move to questions. Let's do this. No problem. So, we understand that you represent administration of president, same as in Kazakhstan. Administration defines the main policy. You are above all the ministries, cabinets, and you see the whole picture. My question number one, what problems do you see in development of mining industry in Uzbekistan? And as we have similar countries and mentalities, it would be interesting to get some feedback and experience from you. Thank you very much. I apologize that I was unable to come yesterday and participate in the plenary session because in parallel there were forums in Samarkand and we were urgently sent there. I apologize. So getting back to my answer, we see three big blocks of problems. First, institutional legal problems, despite of the fact that the new law on subsoil was adopted, implementation of some law provisions require further development, in particular development of standards, preparing objects which would be subject of sale or privatization, no matter how you put it. There are no strictly prescribed rules about objects to be put to tender for purchase. You can offer at any stage, but for every stage we must get standards of requirements which will say we can put it in this way. That's a standard product and standard requirements you can bring as a package. I saw that in Canada and Australia, and I think that Uzbekistan is going to develop such standards and requirements pretty soon to every stages. Investors must know what to buy. If we say that this deposit C1, investors should know parameters that this is C1 without further questions. The second problem is prevalence of government sector. The great presence of government sector in mining industry has issues because such companies as Navai or Almalik, they have big deposits that they don't want to share with anybody else. They have all the rights. It is important. As I mentioned earlier, standard of geological exploration works must be developed further. And in general, institutional, legal issues are there. We have laws, but sub-legal acts are dragging behind. They need to be developed further. Investors will not invest if they are not totally sure that unless there's the proper quality. The big second set of problems, remote areas, underdeveloped transportation, power supply, gas supply, and unsustainable power or other supply. We consider these matters in the framework of public-private partnership. Due to different reasons, the agreements cannot be totally and quickly implemented. Even if you take a recent example of construction of additional capacities in Al Malik mining combination, methods of power, water supply are quite big. Next set of issues are operational concerning fiscal conditions, environmental requirements, and PPP conditions. Also, we have a risk of social expenditures that local mayors are eager to hang on the projects that we have, and it would be operational risks that we must consider all the time. We see these problems, how we respond to them. We always respond in the same way. This is even funny. We propose fiscal measures to reduce taxes or to provide some motivation to PPP projects, but it doesn't work. Problems are in different vectors, and we in return offer fiscal benefits because that's the simplest way. Other matters require more time and very intensive work. That's basically an answer to your question. Yes, you have touched upon fiscal issues. Today we had the speaker from Rat International, Miss Volodya. She said and she spoke how Mongolia approaches to tax preferences. And yesterday, when we had meetings on the level of Ministry of Geology and Mining Industry about how to do that, and my question is, how do you see a balance between reducing taxes to attract more, at the same time protect national interests? Where do you see this fine line where the government should follow? There is no fine line. Every project must be studied very individually because the deposits, geolocation, horizons, over every depth, capacity, pressure inside, all these things matter. So every project requires detailed study. What does it mean? It would be reflected into expenditures and costs. When you have costs, you need to think about the selling price. You have certain ceiling. And what would be the pressure from the bottom in terms of cost? It is individual in every case, and this is the main difficulty in every project. So the balance, no matter how hard we want from the government, it is hard to pursue, and that's the whole problem in the mining sector. Because yes, we can step out and acknowledge certain cost per industry, or we can stick to optimal expenditures. It is very difficult to set a balance, but we're not going to approach every small project with the cost of up to $10 million and apply individual approach. Such individual approach could be applied only to large-scale projects of $100 million and above. Yes, that's good. I'm sure we have lots of things to learn from each other, in particular in terms of tax preferences. And the last question, I would like to thank Uzbek colleagues. We were shown a cluster which you have in Tashkent, geological cluster like a museum and the university and the ministry in one cluster. My question is, Uzbekistan pays big attention to geology, geological exploration in particular. What is your vision? What is the vector developing geology in your country? Short answer, give more money, because underfunding of geological exploration work is obvious. As any other country, Uzbekistan is trying to squeeze out as much as possible, and geological exploration, as always, how to put it in the right way, is the adopted child. That's why the first thing we need to pay more attention to geological exploration in terms of investments. The problem started a long time ago, like years of 2000s, when we started to sign the first agreement.
In this agreement, we didn't indicate what the responsibilities was, when, for what directions of geological activities it will work. And in this model, when if there is no specific in geological responsibilities, it became copy paste in all models. And this is our main mistake in 2000s. We missed this when we must give this responsibility deadline, scope of work. We didn't have it, and unfortunately we didn't have it now. And also the cadre personnel and human resources. So now we really work in this direction, and you know that the national system of certification of personnel was established. We also put the membership in the committee of this, or and also there is a big attention now paid to educational entities which really prepare these human resources, and together with other entities we do this task. And now this task actually in the center, actually two direction, I would say: preparation of personnel and investment from governmental funds. Thank you very much. The thing you were saying, it's like music for my ears, like as much money to geology, attention to human resources preparation, because we have the same relevant problems, our local problems, and actually it is really responding in my heart. That's why, wrapping up our session, I would like to say the words of gratitude to our speakers, and also I would like to say thank you that it was very transparent, it was very good dialogue, and we can admit our mistakes, because all of us, we are humans. Even if it's a big country, it is normal to make mistakes, but it is important to learn from mistakes. And the things we were sharing today about opening and discovering potential of Central Asia, and if we have this attitude from the government side, from the mine companies, from the service providing companies, to our main common goal, then we can really discover this potential together. Thank you very much. Have a good forum.